Hey guys, so I just picked up this 2021 Beta 200RR Race Edition. I've been riding 4-strokes forever. My last bike was a YZ250FX, never really ridden 2-strokes. So this will be the first one. I'm going to do a little mini review here. I raced the Saddleback Extreme Hard Enduro this year on the YZ250FX, and so I had a chance, thanks to my buddy Josh here, to come out and ride the property, some of those same lines, on the Beta. And so I'm going to do a little mini review, just a little bit of video of some riding, and tell you some of my thoughts on this bike so far. Now, I'm no 2-stroke expert. I've ridden some of the 300s a couple times, the 250s, and just couldn't really get comfortable with that power band, with the hit that you get sometimes. And so I'm definitely not an expert when it comes to 2-strokes. I'm hoping this bike fills the niche for me to get into some of those hard enduros, where the FX was really not the best bike. I mean, it would do anything. I had a Recluse in it, tubeless in the front and back. It would tractor up anything, but that bike was really heavy. Not only was it heavy, it was top heavy. So pushing it up hills, things like that, it was brutal. This one, it's not extremely light compared to the FX. It's about 25 pounds lighter, but it feels like it carries it so much lower. So this was the first hill of the day, pretty steep and slippery, and I had this thing in second gear, and it just chugs. I mean, I've only ridden this now for a couple times, and I think what I'm finding is it's pretty important on the 200. You got to be in the right gear, and you really got to keep the revs up and feather the clutch. So I made it pretty far, almost to the top. Now the difference here between this Beta and the 250FX is this Beta, I can get off the bike and I can push it up the hill. The FX was so heavy, it was just a struggle to push that thing anywhere, even if you're spinning the back tire. Couple little issues I've had with the bike. One has been the kill switch. Does not always work. It's these connections that they use. They're not sealed. They're not even locked in place. They're just slide fit. And it seems like if I disconnect it and reconnect it, the kill switch will start working. Luckily, the start switch has been working fine, but I think I'm going to end up replacing both of those switches with individual. You can see on this bike they've combined the starter and the kill switch in one, which I'm not a fan of. I've hit that starter button a couple times accidentally. I'm just used to it being on the left and the right on my old bikes. One of the things that really drove me to get this bike was they came out with the 200 and they put the KYB forks on it, which I love. I've had KYBs as long as I can remember. Everyone knows how to tune them. On this bike, I've got it softened up all the way. I should be in the right range for the springs that came stock with it, but they still seem pretty hard for this kind of stuff, so I may end up revalving it, may end up getting a softer spring, we'll see. So here we're heading out to, for those of you guys that rode Saddleback this year, there was a checkpoint 2 right past a kind of long rocky ravine, so we're going to take this bike through there and see how it does. I can already tell I'm stalling the bike a lot. I've gotten lazy with the Recluse. And so I need to work up my hand muscles. I need to just get back in practice of using the clutch. They don't make a Recluse for this bike. I don't really think it needs one, but it's going to be a lot more work than my old bike. I should mention that one of the very first things I did when I got this bike was I put a bib in the front. I put a soft nitro mousse in front, and I put tubeless in the rear. I'd like to go to tubeless in the back, but I've never had a problem with the rear tire going flat or anything like that. Now the front, I've had issues with the bladder, you know, either leaking out or not sealing well against the rim. I just had a lot of struggles with the front. I never had a problem with the rear. And being able to run, you know, just a couple pounds in the rear in slippery conditions makes a huge difference. So I'm going to keep it this way for now. But I think that's added a lot to this bike and every other bike I've had.
Yep.
So this is the start of that ravine. This is probably my favorite part of the track that we got through this year. The FX did it really well.
Go right up there and right around.
No real issues there. So this will be fun to see how the 200 gets through
Right
this.
up the middle there.
You went to the right, huge fucking hole.
Oh yeah.
I stopped, like if my foot was diving into it, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I went through there too, and I wasn't sure how deep it was.
I ended up having to drag my fucking whole bike sideways, get out of it.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel like doing this, Dusty.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Trying not to get my boots wet.
Now, I know some of you guys might make fun of me for this, but you know, I set up some rocks here to create a little kicker so I can get up on this ledge. I struggled here a little bit at the race this year on the FX, just getting over this first little lip. You know, for me, I'm older, I'm out here, I'm having fun, and I can have fun longer if I don't wear myself out on some of these things, so you can make fun of me.
There we go.
Why did you have to pick my bike up that one?
Yeah.
What?
Now, I did a lot of this ravine in second gear, and I think kind of in hindsight I should have been trying out first gear a little more. First gear will tractor up anything. Again, the trick out here is to kind of keep the wheel from sliding, and I was afraid I was going to do that, but I think first gear might have worked out better through this ravine. I'm thinking about running a 14 tooth just to see what that does to gearing and see if I like it. You know, I didn't get out a second, and especially third a whole lot during this ride unless we were out on a wide open trail. So I'm going to play around with the 14 tooth in the front and just see if that affects it any. And I had trouble stalling the bike a lot. And part of that I think is because, like I said, I've been using the Recluse for so long. Wasn't maybe keeping the revs up enough. Later on in the day I messed around with the idle. I turned it up a little bit to see if that helped. Didn't really like it. I think it's just going to be a matter of getting used to the way that this bike rides and how the engine behaves. Yeah, like right here. I'm over the obstacle, and I think I'm just not. I don't have that clutch control quite yet to where I should have brought it in more and given it a little bit more gas, and it would have been fine. So like I said, I'm really a four-stroke guy. Really haven't owned any two-strokes. I did briefly own a 1996, I think it was, or 1997 CR 125. I had it bored over to 144, so I had a 144 big bore kit on it, and that bike was a super fun bike while I had it. In more open terrain, it was just so light and maneuverable. But on steep hills and technical terrain like this, it would struggle. It just had no bottom end. So this bike compared to that CR with the big bore is a vast improvement. I haven't ridden any of the 200s or the 150s to compare, but this bike really has a surprising amount of bottom end to me.
Did you go right around that or left? I'm thinking about rolling up the side of that log right there. Well, maybe not. That's 8 out. Look at that shit. I'm gonna go up right here, man. Look at that. Wish I could quit killing this. Oh yeah. I knew I was gonna do that. You should go to the right. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. You took away my kicker. He knocked my kicker out of the way.
So one other skill I'm going to have to work on here is figuring out how to do these types of pivot turns better. You know, I've never been good at pivot turns anyway, but at least with the Recluse, you know, you didn't have to worry so much about the clutch to jab the bike down, pull it up, and spin it around. And here I'm just struggling just getting that motion down with doing the clutch and also popping the bike up and throttling at the same time. So I eventually kind of give up and remaneuver my front wheel, but just another one of those things that, you know, you don't think about when you've been riding a Recluse for so long. Alright guys, well I'm going to shut up and let the rest of this video play out. I'm going to try to make some more of these videos, especially next year once some of these hard enduro start up, just to kind of give you some more feedback on my bike and let you know what I think of it. Hopefully this ends up being my primary bike. But as usual, if you want to see more of these, please subscribe, hit the like button, comment, and I'll see you guys at the next video.
This was a checkpoint right here.
Huh?
This was the checkpoint right here, wasn't it?
No, it's not out.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Alright guys, well that's about it for this one. I'm going to try to make some more of these videos just as I get more familiar with this bike, especially when we get to that hard enduro season starting next year. So if you want to follow along, or if you're interested, just subscribe, hit the like button, comment, and I'll see you guys later.